Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user Throwaway Vegan. Me, 29 female, with my vegan coworker, 29 female. I don't know how to deal with her. As the title states, I have this vegan coworker, we'll call her Vegan, who is very active on Facebook and in the office about being vegan and how cruel farming is and everything. To each their own. I don't necessarily disagree with her views on animal cruelty, but here's the thing. I'm a hunter. Not a trophy hunter, but I do shoot feral pigs, rabbits, ducks, introduced classified game ducks, and foxes, and I fish too. All except for the fish are classified as pets. Foxes especially kill native wildlife and farm animals, and farmers will often put you on their property for free to hunt them. I have passed tests here, especially for identification of game ducks versus protected species, and practice ethical hunting, i.e. allowing the animal to have a fair chase. No dogs or tracking devices, practicing marksmanship, and dispatching prey swiftly and humanely and not wasting the meat. None of that is obviously good enough for vegan. When she first came onto the team and told everyone she was vegan, I kept my mouth shut about my hunting. I also think she's really intolerant because she preaches to people about how going vegan will help with their various ailments and always turns up her nose at people heating up meat in the microwave. As a result, we've kind of consciously started excluding her when we get up for lunch. However, last year I started going hunting more regularly with a work friend from another department whose uncle owns a farm where feral pigs and like are an issue, and he often swings by to have a chat about guns or bows and our next trip, so she found out I was a hunter. This isn't even at our desks, it's in the kitchen area that has tables and stuff. We sometimes eat our lunches together. Ever since then, in every conversation I've had with her, she's referred to hunting and how cruel it is. One time, I wore a leather pencil skirt to work and she had a go at me for wearing animal products. She seems to have singled me because of the fact that I go hunting. Now, my boss has no spine. I've tried talking to him about this, but she just intimidates him and makes it seem like she's being persecuted, and he's backed down from that. She even tried to get a vegan shelf in the fridge and tried to rope in some Hindu vegetarian guys to do that, but they pointed out that they use milk and cheese and honey in their cooking. They also think she's nuts. It's gotten to the point where we go out for drinks on a Friday night at 5 and we never ask her. I don't organize these things, a coworker does. But my boss told me when I brought it up in a one-on-one meeting that she feels really left out and she seems to think it's my fault because I've been here for longer and I'm somehow poisoning them against her or something. I have since been conscious of this, and if anyone starts a conversation about vegan, I just say I don't talk to her unless it's work related and she's more than adequate at her job. It's actually become something of a joke or catchphrase. I told my boss I don't organize anything except official events and she's always been invited. If she's not invited to informal stuff that's not even organized by me, then that's not my problem. The coworker that doesn't invite her, she managed to piss him off because he's eaten guinea pig. He's from Peru, and she asked him if he'd eaten any of his other pets. For the record, he's never eaten a guinea pig that was a pet. It's something they eat in Peru. Whenever she brings up hunting or anything, I just point blank ask her if there's anything work related that she wanted to talk about, and if there wasn't, I would start talking to someone else or just walk off. I have asked her multiple times to keep conversations work related. I never start a conversation with her at all. Most of the time, she pounces when I'm in the kitchen making tea or getting water or just stretching my legs. One time last week, a group of us were talking and she got up to join the discussion. A horrible silence fell over the group to the point where I just excused myself and went to my desk, and so did a few others. It all came to a head in our team meeting today when our boss usually at the end asks if there's any positive news or celebrations outside of work people want to share, like engagements, marathons, charity appeals, etc. And Vegan sarcastically asked me how many lives I'd taken last weekend. I got annoyed and said her constant badgering me about my hobbies and choosing to eat meat was discriminatory and bothersome, and that unless it was work related, she was not to engage me in conversation otherwise, and told our scribe to put that in the meeting minutes. She seemed a bit shocked by that, and my boss looked uncomfortable but said fair enough. I thought that was the end of that, but then right before our boss went to close the meeting, two other co-workers also put their hands up and asked Vegan to only engage them in work-related discussions and that they were also uncomfortable being given non-medical health advice pertaining to their choice to consume meat and their diets. Again, boss looked uncomfortable but asked Vegan to respect their wishes and closed the meeting. Vegan didn't look anyone in the eye after that, but headed straight to the bathroom. My boss was trying to get one of the co-workers to see if she was okay, and I think one of them eventually checked up on her, but she was in a cubicle and asked to be left alone. She eventually came out and asked my boss to leave early, which she did. I feel awful. She embarrassed me in front of my team with the "lives taken" comment, so I pushed back, but I'm caught between not wanting her to be miserable and not wanting anything to do with her at all. A few of my co-workers and I ended up in a proactive conference call after this with HR, who basically said that always being subjected to unwanted advice and jabs about eating meat was not okay, but some mediation was in order to cut the tension in the workplace. The HR rep then called my boss, who explained what happened in the meeting and the complaints that we'd made on the one-on-ones, etc. But then he went into a meeting room and I didn't hear the rest of the discussion. I don't know what to do assuming she comes into work tomorrow or if I should even talk to her at all. Well, OP, first of all, you didn't do anything wrong. You put a bully in their place and being called out just made her feel uncomfortable. None of this is your fault. It is all her attitude and her personality, and none of it has to do with being a vegan. It has to do with the fact that nobody enjoys somebody just giving their opinion unwarranted and basically saying how better they are than you because they do something different in their life. Choose any topic and tell me if you'd like to have a conversation like that with anybody. I'm pretty sure you would say, no, I don't want to talk to a jackass. Because let's face it, virtue signaling is not an attractive quality in anybody. And also, OP, you didn't poison anybody against her. She did that herself. So don't even worry about any of this drama. You did the right thing having the conversation with HR, you just need to let things play out. Just make sure that the narrative doesn't divert from reality. And what do you guys think? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Silly You says, chiming in as a vegan here, she is being completely ridiculous. She has now created a hostile workplace for you and your co-workers. As a vegan in the world, she cannot expect to never encounter meat eaters. It's one thing to state your opinion, but it's quite another to berate your co-workers. If she didn't want to work with meat eaters, she should choose a vegan company to work for. Do not engage her further. She has been harassing you. This is her problem now. Spring-heeled Jill says, as other people have noted, she's a bully. She's been working hard to establish dominance. I'm surprised she hasn't been peeing on people's desks. Leave her alone. Don't extend your hand to her. Just politely nod when you see her. Have the professional conversations you need to have with her and get on with your life. Since she's a bully, any attempt to jolly her along may be seen as weakness. Bullies gotta bully, so I would not trust any apparent change in behavior at all. She'll probably just gun for revenge. You've got a wishy-washy boss, yes? I wonder how hard she'd have to work to get him to take up her cause. Be rigorously professional with her. Dot every I, cross every T, triple check that she is not even for a nanosecond outside of any loop in which she has a professional concern. If you are talking with other people when she walks in a room, you all should probably make a point of acknowledging her presence and wave and smile before returning to conversation. You don't want accusations that you guys are plotting or otherwise freezing her out, etc. Maybe consult HR on how best to move forward so that everyone's ass is covered. And OP responds, yeah, I'll follow HR's guide with this. I'm concerned she's going to accuse us of bullying. Ironic Dancer says, I know you are uncomfortable and feeling guilty, but this is essentially your boss's fault. You made a boundary request. You didn't attack her as a person. You cited the behavior you wanted stopped, and that was all. He should have pulled her aside and said there had been complaints about her pushing her views unsolicited onto other co-workers and that it was inappropriate. That she should consider this a verbal warning and the next time would be written and the third time would be termination. That is the boss's job. He didn't do it and now everyone else had to confront her and make her feel bad. She brought this on herself and your boss enabled it. It isn't your responsibility to fix it. Edit to add, and I hate hunting and was a vegetarian for a long time. This situation isn't a belief problem, it's a behavior problem. Additional information from OP's comments. One of the co-workers that put their hand up is a cancer survivor, and apparently veganism can prevent cancer because of chemicals or something. So vegan pissed off that co-worker pretty bad too. I have told her that it's cool that she's vegan and all, but it's not cool that she keeps trying to shove it in everyone's face. I believe she's free to make whatever choices she wants in her life, but so am I. I also told her to stop bothering me with her crap or I would report her for harassment. She thinks she's some animal rights crusader though. Anyways, I have reported her to my boss. Nothing ever came of it. Funny thing is that nobody has given her hassle for being a vegan, but boy does she make me want to reach for a rack of lamb or something. The most she's received is an eye roll when it comes to ordering at team lunches because everything had to be modified or made from scratch. And also, she should know that alienating people is not a good form of activism. Alright, well the community pretty much assured OP that she did nothing wrong and it's a character flaw from vegan. Anyways, let's continue with the update to see how this story ends. So, the meeting happened on Friday. HR lady is very much a let's all get along type and very enthusiastic and eager to mediate with buzzwords and talk about feelings. HR contacted me and I told them to get Vegan's perspective first so that she wouldn't complain about not getting a chance to get her point of view. So Vegan, my boss, and HR had a meeting. I'm pretty sure Vegan made it seem like she had been bullied, which was pretty much what I was expecting. Then the rest of us were called into a meeting with HR to give our points of view. The co-worker who was a cancer survivor had gotten progressively more annoyed at what happened after the meeting with Vegan talking off, so I told her she was welcome to take the lead in the meeting because her issues could have had an actual health impact. She took up most of the time actually talking about how Vegan kept giving her unsolicited, medically unsubstantiated advice on cancer treatment and prevention, and HR and boss started looking uncomfortable and concerned. A few other co-workers, like the one with celiac or celiac, Google gave me both pronunciations, especially also mentioned unsolicited advice. Then my Peruvian co-worker brought up cultural insensitivity and the eating your pets comment, and I didn't know Vegan said this to the Hindu co-worker, but apparently Vegan had told them that veganism would make him a better Hindu because it eliminated all animal cruelty or something. A few people started laughing at this and one co-worker joked that Vegan was like the vegan Amway, always selling something that nobody was interested in. So I'd been pretty quiet at that point, and HR asked me why I had asked Vegan to only speak about work-related matters, and I told her that I'm a hunter and briefly explained that I believe in ethical hunting and how it benefited endangered species, etc. But Vegan kept on calling it murder and had a dig at me for my leather skirt, even though other people here had leather shoes, leather handbags, and HR injected that her Filofax was real leather, and I told her that talking to Vegan was stressful and demoralizing, and she'd refused to respect my boundaries when I asked her on other occasions to keep things work-related. Then, after gathering the input from all parties, the mediation began and Vegan was brought in and other co-workers left. I basically said exactly what I'd said before to Vegan with HR and our boss there, that I respected her lifestyle choice and how passionate she was about making a change, but I disagreed with her on certain points, and even if she didn't agree with my lifestyle choices, it was unfair of her to single me out or harass me about them. Vegan said that to her, what I was doing was morally unconscionable and she didn't believe in exploiting animals. So I told her that her iPhone, her clothes, her computer were all produced via human exploitation, and the quinoa that she loves so much has affected local income farmers in Bolivia, but she eats it anyways. And then I told her it was great that she had her thing to try and improve the world, but I also had a different perspective and different issues I was more passionate about, and that I had respected her point of view and she should respect mine. Vegan's response to all of this was, "It's still murder." HR looked annoyed at this point and said that Vegan was not trying to find a middle ground, so I turned to HR and said that this was why there was no middle ground, and that's why I thought of keeping things civil and work-related, because in the end, we are here to do a job. HR agreed, my boss agreed, I agreed. Vegan grudgingly agreed, and HR wrote all this down, and I had mediation meeting minutes saying all of this emailed to the four of us. Anyway, our boss called us into a meeting around lunch and said it was good that we were able to talk about things outside of work because it's good team bonding, but it had come to his attention that there was unsolicited health advice and cultural insensitivity issues in the team, that we'd be discussing that in our next team meeting, and we'd had a productive session but needed to focus on work and keep our spirits up. Vegan had a meeting with our boss after that and then went home early. We had to come in on Saturday and today to do end of month stuff. This happens when the end of the month falls on a weekend. I'm in finance. But we get time in lieu. I just gave Vegan a cheerful good morning, to which she didn't respond, and later she handed me a file and said she was leaving. I just said, "Thank you for your work today and enjoy the rest of your weekend." Vegan kind of just grunted at me and left. I'm just going to keep it as civil as HR said. Vegan dug her own hole. I still feel a bit sorry for her though. I still think she feels attacked, but at least it got her off my back for the time being. Thank you all for your input. Well, OP, at least the matter is solved and she won't be bothering you anymore. Good for you for standing up for yourself and doing the right thing by involving HR in this matter. Thanks for sharing and take care. Now, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Petty Revenge and it's by user FirmPotato6964. Housemate bugs me about owing her money. Fine, let's see who really owes who. I, 20 female, have lived with this girl for over a year. She doesn't realize how annoying she can be. She's a good person at heart, but she was coddled by her parents and thinks she's the center of the universe. Some little examples of her behavior. After I come home from a long day of work, she sits on my bed and talks for an hour about a new book she got when I clearly just want some time to relax on my own. She'll take my drying dishes off the rack and chuck them all over the kitchen to put a single cup on the rack even when there's plenty of room. When shopping, she'll hover over my shoulder and give her opinion on every item I look at or get. Never shuts up. Anyway, the focus of this story. First, some context. Her car stopped working, so I have been getting up at 5 every morning to drive her to work. Never ask her for a thing in exchange. I also do a lot of stuff for her as well, such as buying her drinks, etc. She counts pennies, super exact about the amount everyone owes her, down to the cent. So I forgot my card one day and wanted some lollies. I asked her to pay. It was like $4.50. So then, when we get home, she asks for the money, but I forget. She then keeps hassling me for it until I snap and say, "Fine, then let's count the cents," and tally up all the petrol she owes me for driving her to work, plus the price of hiring a car for a day. I let her drive mine for a day, along all the other little things I have bought for her this year. The total is over $100. Immediately she wants to backtrack and say the lollies are paying me back for driving her every day. But nope, now she has to pay me every cent she owes and has to find a different lift from now on. OP's edit, clearing a couple of things up I've seen in the comments. 1. I'm Aussie and lollies means sweets or candy. 2. Yes, I have tried to set boundaries and talked about it in the past. She has anxiety, and due to the center of the universe complex, it only leads to meltdowns where I then have to spend an hour convincing her that I don't hate her. It's just not worth the energy. I also can't swap roommates for another 6 months. I'm chill and don't mind compromising. I just snapped this time. Everyone has their limits. Well, OP, you're just following her own rules, so yeah, she has to pay up now. Thanks for sharing. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.